Good evening, everyone. Welcome back once again to Vicious Rants. And of course, I am your host, your YouTube messiah, and often imitated, never duplicated superstar Team Vicious. And Raw this week was, as per the norm, in the Performance Center. The Go Home Raw 2 Backlash coming up. And, well, before we get into the show, talk about last week via the SmackDown Rewind. Big highlights from last week. Miz and Morrison basically wound up doing like an episode of Punk'd or Candid Camera, whatever prank show you really want to go to, on Strowman. And Strowman found where they were hiding at. They were hiding in a unlabeled white van, which just so happened to be allowed to be parked in the Performance Center parking lot. Not conspicuous at all. And then he flipped the van over, which, really, considering the fact that a few years ago he flipped over a fucking semi-truck, yeah, that really is not much of a shocker. Yeah. Other than that, really, not much else big hype, ooh-ah, Ken did on it. They built up the finals for the Intercontinental Tournament for this Friday coming up between Styles and Bryan. My money's on Uncle Allen winning that one, hoots. And other than that, really, they built more of they put down the final foundation for Sheamus, Jeff Hardy. They're going to have a match square off at Backlash. My money's on Jeff getting the win and triumphing over the person who's been blatantly throwing cheap shot after cheap shot at him for talking about his past and all this, that, and the other. And to all the people out there that are constantly criticizing and shitting all over this, I just want you all to think for a minute. Yes, is WWE making a story out of real life on him? Yes, but one, keep in mind, y'all said you wanted reality. That's reality. And two, more than anything, how many actors and actresses out there in Hollywood have overcome alcohol, drug use, and all other sorts of bad shit, and then wound up playing roles in movies that wound up resembling it? Probably best example I can think of, most recent memory, Ben Affleck did a movie. He was a basketball coach who was an alcoholic, and that's right after he came out in the open saying he was, and was saying that doing the Batman movie was making him one. So, what's that tell you? Are people going to say, oh, Hollywood didn't give a shit about Ben Affleck then? I don't hear nothing on that. So, other than that, yeah. Now let's switch gears back to Raw. It was going to start off with Asuka against Charlotte, but just as Asuka came out, then out came Sasha and Bayley, who then wound up saying, hey, since we're the new tag champs, which actually, now that I mentioned, completely forgot. Thanks, Wade. Production help. You get what you pay for, and I pretty much pay them nothing, so that might explain a lot. Anyways, they came out, they were bragging about on how they're now the women's tag champs since they beat Bliss and Cross on Friday. And also, talking about on how they're better, this, that, and the other. Then out comes Charlotte. Charlotte bragging about on how, even though she may not be the NXT Women's Champion because Io Shirai won the night before at In Your House TakeOver, which, phenomenal show. If you have not seen it, highly recommend you do. And saying, I don't need that to show I'm better. And basically saying to Sasha and Bayley, I don't need a title to show I'm better. I just go for the title to show that I can beat you for it. Which, yeah, okay, I'm cool with that kind of mindset. You know, that's like a good heel way of going about it, saying, I don't need to be the world champion. I just need to prove that I can take that title off of you to say, you're not a good world champion. And then out come the IIconics, who then openly state that there is a match officially announced for Backlash with the IIconics against Bliss and Cross against Sasha and Bayley for the women's tag titles. And then it leads to a big brouhaha, rough fight, and then cut the commercial. We come back, we got a triple threat tag match. Asuka, Charlotte, IIconics against Bayley and Sasha. And the main story in this match was honestly the bickering and the little back and forth. Anything you can do? No. Hold my beer, watch this, I'm going to do better than you. Between Asuka and Charlotte during it, you know. It was great through that. You know, the little bickerings that they had when they were both on the apron together, and then when one was in the ring, like, oh yeah, watch this, watch it, you watching? And then doing the moves and all. Match eventually came to an end though when Asuka tagged herself in as Charlotte was about to go for a moonsault. Put in the Asuka lock on Billie Kay. Billie tapped out. Next thing you know, after the win, Charlotte then, boom, slams her with a big boot. And then, yeah. So now we'll get that match between them two later in the night. So next match we got Humberto Carrillo and Aleister Black against Murphy and Austin Theory. And before this match came to be, Seth Rollins came out, scooted Byron Saxton out of the commentator's chair, which did chap a lot of people's asses on Twitter, like, out of all the people, why Saxton? Which, okay, this is about as much current event as I'm going to get on here. Given everything that's going on in the world and all, yeah, in a way I could see why. I'm not saying I agree or disagree, I'm just saying I see the reasoning on why people would get their asses chapped on it. However, considering Seth's not going to kick Samoa Joe out because Samoa Joe could kick his teeth down his throat, and that leaves Saxton and Phillips, and, well, Byron Saxton is more of a squeaky clean baby face for him to shoo off and get more heat on, as opposed to Tom Phillips. And I have stressed this argument time and time again. Heat is heat. It doesn't matter if it's cheap heat, short-term heat. Heat is heat. If you know on how to use it and utilize it, you can fucking go with it. And, you know, if doing that chaps people's ass and gives Seth heat, fuck, go for it. I did all kinds of shit to get heat on people, and I made sure if I did not make you leave wanting to kick my ass, I didn't do my job. That's the kind of heat that you need to get. And now, back to the show. Seth scooted Saxton out. I did a FaceTime feed with Rey Mysterio. Rey saying, don't want to give false hopes, but my doctor says things are looking good and hoping for the best. And then Seth and Rey, they go back and forth on each other for a minute, and then just as Seth is locked onto the camera, just like I am with you all right now, talking about on how Rey's sacrifice was for the greater good, and what he did was absolutely needed. Wham! Aleister Black came out of nowhere and did a dive right onto Seth, and then that eventually led to the match. So now, Humberto Carrillo and Aleister Black against Murphy and Theory. Very fast paced, a lot of back and forth. It was back and forth, fast paced action. There was a lot of fast-paced action in this match, which was really cool to see. Match came to an end when Black did a high knee to Murphy and then got the win, 1, 2, 3. Now, after the match is when the real story from this came to be. It was when, after the match, Seth Rollins came in, proceeded to go and do a stomp and beat down onto Black, and then they did a 3-on-2 beatdown. And then they had Murphy pinned up against the ropes and all. Seth went to town on Carrillo, and then next thing you know, he went to town on Black. So, yeah, I'm digging where the hell they're going with this. Having Seth, you know, saying, listen, you're making me have to do this. I don't want to have to do this. I am doing this because it is my burden. It is my curse to have to carry the weight of this show for all of you. And he's coming off like that, and I've stressed this to the point of nauseum. The best villains don't see themselves as villains. They see themselves as the hero of the story. You know? You go back in in history, almost every maniacal dictator in some form or another, they saw what they were doing, whether, you know, they saw everything that they were doing was for the greater good. And that's what they thought, even if it wasn't. You know, take over a country, well, I'm doing it for the greater good. Slaughter half of it, slaughter half a village, oh, it was for the greater good. You know, try to commit mass genocide, oh, it's for the greater good. You know, they make that argument. And they don't see themselves as the villain. No, they're saying they're doing what's needed. And that's what, the way Seth's going with this heel run, fucking beautiful. Can't stress that enough. Next up, we got triple threat match to determine #1 contender for Apollo Crews' coveted United States Championship, and who will face Crews at Backlash this Sunday for it. Andrade, Angel Garza, and Kevin Owens, which Garza and Andrade came out at the same time, along with Zelina Vega, which, again, Aleister Black, you modern day Billy Kidman lucky son of a bitch bastard. Sorry, Zelina Vega, tight leather skirt, couldn't help myself. God damn, I fucking hate that man sometimes. Anyways, Garza and Andrade, they came out at the same time. Owens, boom, sneak attack on both of them right before they go to break. They come back. It's a 2-on-1 beatdown, and then it eventually leads to Andrade and Garza going back and forth at each other because they're fighting over who's going to get the pin, who's going to get the win, and then it eventually leads to them two actually going at it and slugging at each other. And then when Zelina tries to get in between them, she gets knocked down. Then they take her out. Then it comes back to 2-on-1 for a minute, and then them two are going squawking at each other. The match eventually comes to an end when Owens, he pops a stunner on Angel Garza, and then Andrade kicks Owens right in the head and then pins Garza 1, 2, 3. So your winner is Andrade. Follow up from that though was afterwards, it saw backstage Garza and Andrade arguing. Next thing you know, Zelina just comes over looking like that angry mom that wound up seeing two kids fighting. It's like, and you just saw them two walk away. It was like that angry mom that just told their kids, go the fuck over there and don't you say one goddamn word until I tell you to talk. You know, that's all I thought. Maybe that's because that's what my mom had to do with me and my brother a lot when we were little, but that's a story for another time. Next matchup we got tag team action, MVP and Bobby Lashley against the Raiders. Now, before this match came to be, MVP was hosting the VIP lounge about to introduce his tag partner, Bobby Lashley, when McIntyre came out and was hyping up on how, you know, oh, MVP, we're buddies, we're friends. Oh, no, we ain't friends. You made that clear. Alright? Well, I'll give you now, Bobby Lashley, he got the full Nelson on me. I'll give you that. But you know firsthand, you've had a Claymore more times than not. So, I'm going to give you to the count of 3. Yeah, I can either hit you with a Claymore now, or You can run off and I kick your ass and hit you with a claymore. It's your choice. 1, 2, and just as he got the 2, or 3, 2, and then just as he was about to get the 1, turned around, Bobby Lashley was there, and then MVP, there's 1. And then Drew turned around again, wham, headbutted MVP, and then grabbed his title, rolled out the ring. Then that's when the Raiders came out, and just as the Raiders came out, the Profits came out right behind them. When, dude, I'm gonna just fucking say it now. I fucking love this. Anything you can do, I can do. Vignettes that the Profits and the Raiders are doing, because it's I'm fucking laughing my ass off every time I see it. And not only that, you know, heaven forbid you have to you give a character, you add layers to a character. And people want to go and get mad and say, oh, well, the Viking Raiders shouldn't be doing this kind of comedy stuff. It's not what their characters would do. Let's take a look at Stone Cold Steve Austin for a second. Toughest SOB on the planet. His words. Yet he was sitting in Vince McMahon's office, wearing a Stetson, strumming a guitar, singing Kumbaya, my lord, to him. Are you telling me that wasn't? You telling me that was bad? Or, even yet, Kurt Angle, wearing little baby cowboy hat, singing Jimmy Crack Corn and I don't care. Or doing a milk bath. Or going, or you know, I can't even count how many times Kurt Angle has done comedy shit. You know, no wrestler should be just defined as saying, oh no, they can't do comedy stuff because that'll kill their character. No, that's bullshit. A wrestler is basically like an actor. You gotta have range. You can be known and infamous for this, but be open to trying and experimenting with that. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. Oh well, fuck that, move forward. But yeah. So, anyways, back to the match. MVP Lashley against the Raiders. It was a pretty good match, you know. Eric was the punching bag, and then Ivar got the tag in before the break, started cleaning up, and then now, during the entire match, though, MVP and Lashley, they were really leading the pace. And I really dug the hell out of that. And obviously, yeah, it's to make Lashley look good leading into the match. That's all well and good. But, still, though, if you... And people can think about on how I need to say this for a minute. I got it all up in here, I just can't get the words right. It's basically like on how it was back in, I think it was 2014 or 2016-ish. Somewhere between 2014 and 2016, somewhere between that 14, 15, or 16, somewhere between that time frame, when Lashley and Drew Galloway were going at each other at TNA Impact for the TNA title, and then, you know, yeah. Excuse me. That was fucking beautiful with that shit. And if people want to get mad and make comparisons and say they're just copying that, fine, go ahead. But you know what? Majority of wrestling is all copying each other. For fuck's sake, as much as people love New Japan, how many people were still on the Bullet Club train? Even though Bullet Club was, you know, people want to say Bullet Club was a copy of the NWO. As much as people love, you know, a lot of the shit that AEW is doing, you know, but a lot of the stuff that they did, also still copying WWE. And before all the AEW fanboys come at me with the hate comments down below, I ain't shitting, I'm just saying. You're going to make comparisons, it's going to come back at you. Bite you in the ass because people are going to make comparisons back at you. You know? That's it, plain and simple. But I fucking love this. I'm hoping this stretches out at least until, hopefully, SummerSlam-ish, to where, you know, then Lashley wins the world title, because I would fucking love that. Just Bobby Lashley beat Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam for the world title. Oh, that'd be beautiful. You know, but this match came to an end, this tag match came to an end when Lashley locked in the full Nelson on Eric, you know, and Eric's not a small guy, by no shape or bound. Was not able to really ragdoll him, but, you know, he did it as best as he could for like a good 230, 240-ish guy. Yeah. So now we come to main event of the night. Asuka, Charlotte, my future third ex-wife Asuka. Oh, my boo. Okay. Beautiful match. Sasha and Bayley were ringside doing commentary for a majority of the match until the IIconics, who were on the other side of the plexiglass, somehow snuck around it and then proceeded to beat the shit out of both of them, and then popped Bayley with their own version of the Magic Killer onto the announce table after that. But this match was Charlotte leading all the way. Charlotte led all the way through. And yeah, it was just woo. It was like for every 15 moves Charlotte was doing, Asuka was able to pull out 7 or 8. And I wasn't complaining because it was a damn good match. I mean, these two just have natural fucking chemistry and just go together well, you know? And I have said it on my Twitter at Tim Vicious 100 times, and I'm probably going to say it every time they bring it up. They say, Asuka's never beaten Charlotte. Technically, she has, considering Asuka and Kairi Sane beat Charlotte and Becky Lynch in a TLC tag match. Plus, Charlotte also won the SmackDown Women's title in a triple threat ladder match against Charlotte and Becky, so technically she did twice. But, you know, just stating facts. You know, I ain't gonna split hairs and be like one of those annoying fans that'll be like, why won't they ever acknowledge it? I'll make it in passing as a joke. But either way, I fucking love this match. This was a hell of a good match. Hell of a good match to end the show leading into the pay-per-view. It came to an end. Charlotte, she got the win when she hit a spear on Asuka, which she did that after Asuka attacked Nia, who got up on the apron, came down. Asuka hit Nia with a hip attack, and then next you know, Charlotte, boom, hit a spear, and then 1, 2, 3. Now, I don't know. Okay, I may be a bit of a crazy fucker, but I'm not crazy enough to see things yet. And I know for a fact I saw Asuka's shoulder pop up at 3. So that I will die on that hill on, but yeah. Other than that, I can't really complain. And you know, as much as people may want to say, oh well, WWE never wants Asuka to beat Charlotte. The same thing could have been said about Asuka beating Becky for the longest time. Because that's on how it was for the longest time. Until she got the 1. And that's all Asuka needs, is just to get that 1. And when she does get that 1, that's when it's going to be, that's where the payoff for all those losses is going to come in. So, it's that time, folks. Thank you all for watching the show. Please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back, watch some of the other episodes. Go and look for me on the Twitter at Tim Vicious. Also on the Facebook gimmick, Tim Ash. If you're going to look for me on my Facebook gimmick, let me know you found me on there from here. On my Twitter at Tim Vicious, on the guy, Creep John Gone. Big ups to my executive producer, Ali Rewan Ben, who provided the music for this week's show. Check it out. It's on iTunes, Spotify, and such. Details are down below. You also want one of these sweet Ali Ray Ben shirts? Hit me up. I'll talk to the man for you. Show him some love and support. Also, thank you to contributor to the show, LFC Lingerie Fighting Championship. It's a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of MMA, a whole lot of attractive women wearing a little bit of nothing. Also, folks, do not forget to follow these cool-ass cats right here on the Twitter. Axel Mulligan, Kenny Killer, DSP_IV, Diabolica, RAN, Sergeant Curry Pants. Now, do want to let you know, Nikita, Sergeant Curry Pants, she is in Twitter jail for the time being, though. Hopefully she'll come out soon. And folks, like I always tell you, you let me great, you hate me. Fuck you.